Welcome to the Mean Green Show.
Every day, get down.
Welcome to the Mean Green Show.
Every day, get stronger.
Let's go. Welcome to the Mean Green Show.
Every day, get better.
What up, what up, what up, what up, what up, Jared Gar freaking Sia.
What up, what up?
What's up, man?
Living life.
How was the weekend?
Amazing.
Amazing.
Yes, sir.
Good, good. Shout out to Faye. Happy birthday, Faye.
Yeah.
Happy birthday to the sus. I want to give a shout out to Wendy Rodriguez.
My girl.
Oh, Wendy, I'll be listening, girl. I'm glad you're out there doing your thing at Bootcamp. Jared, man, we had a great podcast last time. I want to say, honestly, that was probably, I've been doing this for a while, that had to be one of my top 10 podcasts that we've done.
That's what I heard.
I've enjoyed it, man. It was the response was amazing. You know, I was able to get a lot of feedback from members, a lot of inboxes, and it was very fulfilling to hear that people value us the way that they value us, and that means the freaking world to me.
Absolutely.
And also, you know, feedback to potentially make us grow at the same time. So to everybody, thank you. Your comments and suggestions and affirmations mean everything to us.
Absolutely.
All right, talk to me.
that
What
was
we
good.
doing today, bro?
Today, we hit him with the title.
Let's go. I'm ready.
We talking death of the snatch, y'all.
Ooh.
Barbell snatch.
Ooh. That is an attention gainer. Death of the barbell
Barbell
snatch.
Something we don't do at the gym.
We don't do. I'm going to throw it out there maybe in the fall.
Uh-oh.
But not. Let's dive into that later.
Okay.
And I'll say why.
Okay.
So, guys, today's episode is all about programming. I like the title because this whole series, Jared, I feel like I've been able to be a Chris that a lot of people don't get to see on a daily basis.
Yep.
So this is going to be cool because it's not going to be the cookie cutter response of programming. I
Yeah.
get to actually jump into logistics and other perspectives that we have when we decide to do workouts.
I got you.
All right, how do we start this one?
Man, I think we're gonna hit a lot of topics today. When you said that, I was reminded of something that Coach Alex wanted me to put in the atmosphere too. So I don't know. Let's start with
Shout out to Alex.
Yeah, shout out to Coach Alex. I want to, I guess, start by asking you a question. Is the basics of our programming. Now we will get into snatch at some point. Why we even named it that to begin with, but the basics of the Mean Green program setup. How did you come up with that?
For what I like. Off top, man, I think when you're a personal trainer and you're good at what you do, you learn really early that you don't program workouts based upon what you want to do. You base programs off the individual. So when I got into the industry, I was first a personal trainer. So with a basketball background, I didn't care what size, shape, background of athletic ability they were doing basketball workouts, and I learned very quickly it wasn't effective. So it was trial and error. So I learned then that, okay, I need to create programs specifically for that person, and that's when I became better at it, right? And this is, 2007-ish, somewhere around there. So when I got into group training around 2008-ish, I noticed that I could not personalize a workout for 30 different people for the same workout.
Yep.
So then it went back to what I like to teach and what I like to coach. So it's two different styles of training. You have individual programming for a specific person, and then you have general public training. So with general public, I love teaching what I love. So I get Pilates. I understand the philosophy of yoga and spin studios, but that's not a passion of mine. So the workout that we put on the floor is workouts that I want to do because I do them. I'm not going to put anything on the floor that I would never do. So long-winded answer, but that's what I do.
I also want to dig into this. So I think some gyms, I think if you walk in them, you'll see a fully drawn out. This is the warm up. This is the workout. This is the cool down. The warm up might be 10 squats, 10 push ups, jog 100 meters, come back in 10. Like it's just drawn out. What about our program allows you to give trainers freedom to come in and do the warm ups that they feel are best? and I asked this because y'all have told me plenty of times, Jared, your warm-ups like the workout.
That's a
So-
really good question. And I must admit this can change,
Mhm.
right? So right now we give for the gym and boot camp, we give our trainers free motion. We trust them that the experience that they've had, the knowledge that they've gained, they clearly understand how to prepare a person's body, right? And do it in a very time effective manner, because that's a big component, right? But at the same time, I know some people like, look, that might not be a strength, so it's a stretch for some trainers. But for me specifically, it helps me also identify potential leaders that may take over programming one day,
Okay.
or be able to teach other trainers how to program. So I love that aspect of having those conversations with you or whoever it may be about how to get people prepped for the workout. For me personally, yeah, it's Chris. I don't like being handcuffed, to be honest. I like to put my style on it, right? So if I said, hey, if Jared did the program and he said, hey, we're doing front squats, make sure you tell them A, and then make sure you tell them B, and make sure you tell them C, and you cannot say nothing else. Like,
That's rough.
it feel like it eliminates me to put my experience, my philosophy on that. Now, it's still teaching the movement, but I love for trainers to be able to teach the movement in their way, because David Martinez teaches it totally different than Jared, but they're both very effective in the way that they teach it. So for me, I love to see our coaches have freedom to make implementations, to make adjustments, because sometimes I make a workout a week prior, right? So if we have a 400 meter on the run, on the workout, and then it decides it wants to thunderstorm, sometimes Chris is not available 5 minutes before your class start.
Yeah.
And I love having the trust in trainers to make adjustments. So when it comes to warm-ups, I think it's simple. I think it's something that people enjoy, from the Lynn twins doing their breathing techniques that they're passionate about, to David coming in with Sally and bringing motivational speeches in, and Jared bringing his PT background in. So just seeing different trainers bring different things to the game, I believe that's why we're Mean Green.
Yeah.
Question for you: how do you feel jumping into a program as a coach when it's like, yo, I didn't make the workout, but I got to produce it. I got to and produce it effectively.
Yeah.
Right. And I'm curious to hear that from somebody who's been in the game for 2 years since you've been back, plus the year I think you were here before you went to go coach and play football.
So let me make sure I'm getting your question right. You're asking, how does it feel to be thrown into it, or what are you saying?
Not thrown. I would say more so, how does it feel? Because it's easy for me to produce a workout that I wrote out, right? So you do the programming for the outdoor boot camp trainers, right? But when you come to the gym, you're doing workouts that Chris made. So how does that feel like to produce a workout that you didn't program?
I got you. I think if you didn't have the knowledge, it may be a little tough, but obviously all of our Mean Green trainers are very knowledgeable what we do. So first couple weeks just getting used to the rhythm, which I think anywhere is a little bit more difficult. But once you get into a rhythm, a week, 2 weeks into giving the workouts, I think you understand a little bit more of, what's expected of you. So I think it becomes a little bit easier. One thing you did mention when you talked about warm-ups, I like that you give trainers kind of I don't even know what you would call it, the freedom and the understanding that they can be creative within the workout, and it starts with the warm-up.
Yeah.
So I can't remember. I think last week it was pouring down raining, and you had an outside workout, and I remember I walked through the gym, and I saw people inside running, and I think that if we didn't have the freedom to do things like a warm-up on our own and feel like this is our class, this is our space, we have some ownership and control of the workout, then it might be a little bit harder to make those calls on our own.
Absolutely.
Right? If it was raining, like, oh crap, what does Chris want us to do exactly?
Right.
Oh crap, what does Alex want us to do exactly? Like,
That would suck.
I don't have the freedom to do. I might mess it up. Like, so because I don't think we
I like that.
Yeah, we don't feel that. I think it makes it a whole lot easier on us to just kind of
You watch football, right?
Yeah.
There's a guy named Matt Schaub. Remember that name?
Ooh, do I?
Do you remember a guy named Tom Brady?
I do.
They're both NFL quarterbacks. How many starting quarterbacks are there in the world?
I mean, if we're talking about the teams,
Yeah, like how many NFL teams?
NFL 32.
So it's 32 starting quarterbacks in the world. So whether you're a Matt Schaub fan or not, he still is part of the top 32, right? Which is a very small percentage in the world, right?
Yep.
But I'm using this example because as a diehard Texan fan, there were times where I wish he can be more Tom Brady-ish, where he can come up to the line, look at the defense, and make audibles.
Yeah.
Tom, Manny, all the greats do that. Whether it was, I think Matt Shaw probably, because he was that top 32, I believe he could read defenses. I believe he was that smart, you know, that he can read defenses. But the coach at that time, was it Kubiak?
Yeah.
Was it Kubiak? Kubiak and he didn't get O'Brien. It was Kubiak.
Yeah, Kubiak
It was Kubiak.
all the way until.
Okay. So Kubiak was more of a controlling on the offense, run, pass fake, or run, whatever the sequence he had, and he didn't allow him to make those adjustments. My question is, could have Matt Shaw been a better quarterback if he had the freedom to make those calls at the line? And that's how I look at the coaches, right? It's cool if you handcuff somebody, and I'm not against any fitness industries or fitness brands that do that, because there's some that are really effective in doing that. And there's some trainers that don't want to have to come and think. They just want to come and train and don't have to worry about that stress. But for me specifically, I like to treat people the way I want to be treated. And let me be the quarterback that can make the adjustments in the middle of the pressure, in the middle of the game. And I think for me, personally, I say this with all respect to the person that create Mean Green workouts. But the reason why my class is what my class is because the first 5 to 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Like, the workout is going to be the workout, but the coach and the personality behind the workout in that first 5 to 10 minutes is everything. Y'all think I'm crazy, but I don't start a workout until I get a hug from every single one of y'all. Comment down below and tell me if I'm lying or if that's correct. You know, being able to get fist pumps, being able to ask people, you know, Faye, how was the pool party? Or, you know, hey, Samaya, thanks for coming and checking Chris out to speak. Like, all those little things are ingredients that I believe you do in that freedom time.
Yeah.
But if we just said, hey, stand under the TV or by the whiteboard, make sure you do it this way and make sure you do it that way, I think you'll be a subpar team versus winning 5 Super Bowls. How many Super Bowls Tom Brady got?
Was it
5?
6?
6? Golly, he's a winner.
Might have 7, bro. I don't know.
Dang, he's a winner.
Yeah, Buddy wins.
He's a winner. So, but yeah, Jared, so thinking of that, right, it's always interesting to me to get feedback, not just from obviously members, but from the team, you know, because at the same time, I'm pretty sure there are people like you that write great programming, and it's like, hey, I might have done this differently, or I wish we could do this sometimes or not do this sometimes. So it's always cool to kind of hear you guys' feedback. But from you to everybody else has always been really transparent with me from programming. What do you think, and I'm saying this to Jared because he sat in the garage with me weeks at a time and picked my brain, also seeing how I create the workouts. What's one of the things off top, and you can name several, but I really want them to hear your voice on this. When you sat down in that garage, the times that you sat down for the hours that you spent with me, what were the things that, like, oh, this is how we do it, or, interesting, I didn't know that was done?
On the spot question. I like this one.
Yes. Yes. Got him.
Things that Mean Green does. I think the biggest thing for me when it comes to programming was understanding everything that goes into it, especially from this gym's perspective. So, like a lot of you guys, when I first got here, I did hear questions about why things were done a certain way, and not in a bad way. Just people don't understand, and even from the coaches, like, dang, why don't we? And I think when I sat down in that garage, the couple times that I did, and we talked about, you know, the difference between equipment availability and the difference between, hey, is it gonna rain? Checking out the weather, that affects the flow. Like, can somebody in spot 1 and 2 here produce different movements or whatever it might be? Like, all of that goes into the processing of creating a workout. Yeah. So when we have 24, 25 people, the workout flow is probably going to be a little bit different than a workout with 4 to 5 people. But from a programming perspective, you have to be able to program for both of those groups. So I think being able to sit down and listen to all of the dynamics that went into programming a workout for a group like this really kind of
Dope.
that was one of the big things I took away. Because obviously, I play football. So typically we would lift OD, offensive defense. So if it's 100 dudes on the team, 50-50. So it's 50 people in the weight room at a time. Everything was just so seamless at that time. I just thought it was it's cool. So to actually sit down and listen, like that even took me back to football. Like, dang, how did 12 people get on the platform to do power cleans? 12 were on squat, 12 were on the dang.
They
Like,
broke it down.
I didn't even think about it, but that was the flow. Like, it was
broken down. You know, it's cool because I sat down with David Martinez and Alex a couple months ago. And I don't think Alex has a desire. And Alex commented below. Let me know. Alex going to text me and be like, let's meet.
bro.
I'm really scared. But I was able to sit down with Alex and David. I don't think Alex really has a heart to program. I think she just want to be able to show up and do what she do, but trust the programming, right? I think David has a heart for programming. So I wanted both of them to kind of sit down, and that's how it started. I think at first they thought it was going to be like, hey, let's do power cleans, and I like doing pull-ups. It was more so like, all right, we just finished a cycle. We just did this in the cycle. Before we go into this first Monday programming, what do we need to get better at as a brand when it comes to movement? How's your classes looking when they squat? How's your classes looking with the overhead presses? Is anybody dealing with a gym or a class that's dealing with a lot of nagging injuries and stuff like that? So before we even touched the floor of movements, it was like, hold on, what are we dealing with?
Yeah, what's going on?
Right? And I'm on the floor twice a week. So being able to get it from David and Alex and everybody else, you know, you guys are, you know, on the floor more than me. So just to get that feedback. So then when we got that, I like to dive into what you said. And I think this would be really cool. So I'd love to see your feedback as well when we talk about the weird Chris in his garage with some equipment, walking in circles, talking to himself, doing reps and practicing before he writes them down. The first thing, right, the alignment between both gyms. So with both gyms, right, we have a 20-spot model on the Southwest and a 16-spot model on the North side. So for those that are not a part of our brand, we have what you call a pick your spot model, where basically when you go to your spot, that's your spot. It's your own lifting spot, your own barbell, your own set of dumbbells, kettlebells, whatever we're going to be using. Very few things we share, maybe battle ropes or I can't really think of too much more. The Southwest, sometimes we share the benches because we don't have 20 of them. I think the North side has a bench per spot. But so with our pick your spot model, it's interesting because prior to COVID, everybody shared.
Yeah.
Right? And I took that away from COVID. I was like, man, this is kind of neat. This isn't organized. Like, we can control this. So I took away and we kept the pick your spot model. But the challenge in your pick your spot model is that, number one, you can't have too many objects per person. So it's easy when you say, hey, we're going to do barbells, we're going to do kettlebell swings, we're going to do box jumps, we're going to do the rower, we're going to do the bike, and we want slam balls. That's 6 different props, right? But if you have 20 spots, for example, for the Southwest, if you have 20 spots, that means you're about to pull out, is that 120 different pieces? So when you're programming, you're like, hey, man, this looks good. We ain't did this in a while. That's going to make them puke. You know, you put all these things out. But that simple matter, you put out all 6 of those movements that all take a different piece of equipment. That means it's 120 pieces of equipment you need to get out. Then how long will it take you to get 120 pieces out? So the coach come in, they do the warm-up, do the blood flow, get them going, explain the workout. If you got to grab 6 pieces per person, the workout now takes another 15 minutes. And then you have that person that has their stuff because they were 30 minutes prior to class. They prepped and ready, but they're waiting for 15 minutes looking at you like, bro, let's go, right?
Exactly.
So being able to give the whole team that perspective of that little small ingredient of when you're programming, I try to go 3 pieces or less. But even with 3 pieces, It can't be 3 bulky pieces. It can't be the plyo box, a rower, and a barbell. You can't fit in the square footage of that spot, right? So if you go 3 pieces, it might be bikes in the middle, right? It might be a dumbbell, like 1, and then it might be 1 kettlebell. Those 3 pieces. I think that was Saturday's workout, something similar to that. So the question I have for you after hearing that, let's dive into the mind of Mr. Garcia. So when thinking placement, because the goal is not to have 2 mean green gyms, right? The goal is to scale it, to make it so powerful, such a just ironed out machine that we can roll multiple of these out.
Yeah.
Right. So hearing that, seeing that, Jared, what would you tell the class? I'm giving you on the spot questions, by the way. All right. What would you tell the class? What would you want them to know when it's time to pick pieces of equipment for the workout? Not the workout, but when you're saying, hey, we ain't touched a barbell in a while, or we ain't touched dumbbells in a while, you being a guy that's been in this space for a minute, does it matter? Yeah, I like how this question's going. It's a very long-winded one. Does it matter if you're working at shoulder muscle, for example? Does it matter between barbell, kettlebell, dumbbell, calisthenic movement, battle ropes? Does it matter what the piece of equipment is? Should you reuse the piece of equipment? Should you do muscle confusion where you switch up the piece of equipment? Coming from your perspective, I'd love to hear that.
Okay.
What would you tell them?
What I would tell you guys is it does. No, I'm playing. It does matter, but here's one thing I say. If you were at a gym that only had dumbbells, it would work. If you were at a gym that only had barbells, it would work. If you were at a gym that only had kettlebells, it would work, right? Only had bumper plates, it would work because you can use each piece of equipment
That's good.
in a very similar way to get the same results, right? So I can use dumbbells and do, shoulder shoulder raises. Or I can use plates and work on some extra grip strength and do the same thing. So same movement, same work. I'm getting the same thing out of it. But we talked about this. If we said do dumbbell snatches, or not snatches, dumbbell thrusters, and then we said bent over dumbbell row, and then next week we're gonna do single arm dumbbell thrusters and single arm dumbbell row, and then the next week.
Yeah.
Another version of the same dumbbell. It'd probably get a little boring, right? Y'all would probably be like, dang.
Absolutely.
So I think that it adds a different dynamic. Obviously, hand placement is a key. So I don't want to discredit that. Going from like a neutral grip, if you're able to do thrusters with a neutral grip on dumbbells is better for your shoulders as opposed to having that barbell grip. So there's a difference there. But as far as getting that shoulder press movement, like you just change up the stimulus. So I think that, what'd you call it, like shocking the body?
Yeah, muscle confusion.
Muscle confusion is very important.
Yeah, well said. It's cool to hear you say that because I think we can go into the second part of programming. It's when we're picking the workout. I want to say this is more the 4th step out of the 4, but there's a sexiness to the workout.
Absolutely.
Right? So if we did, I'm trying to think of a workout. I don't know. Bench press, a full body workout. Bench press. I don't know. I'm trying to think of something. I can't think of nothing. 10 barbell bench press.
Yep.
10 barbell squats. 10 bicep curls. 10 pull-ups. All right, week 1. You do the same thing on week 2, and the same thing on week 3. And the same thing on week 4, and the same thing on week 5, and the same thing on week 6, right? Same thing on week 7. All right, come on. Same thing on week 8. Oh, come on, give me 2 more weeks. Same thing on week 9, same thing on week 10. So if you do those movements 10 reps, 10 rounds, right? If you stick to that program, you're going to be jacked.
How about that? You're going to be swole.
You go aesthetically, you're going to look amazing.
We did
right?
it.
We did it. It's a bodybuilding workout called German volume training,
Yep.
right? And with that German volume training, to be the nerd on this podcast, it's a lot of repetition and the velocity that you're putting with the force, increasing weight every week, being able to let your muscles recover every week. It's like almost a perfect stimulus for you to gain mass and strength, right? So if somebody comes in and say, hey, Chris, I want to put on muscle and lose body fat, I'm going to eat clean, what's a good program for me to do? Oh, boom.
TVT.
Right? But that's a ugly, excuse my French, that's a ugly ass workout, right? Because it's boring,
Yeah, very.
right? Like 10 reps of this, 10 reps of this, next day, 10 reps of this, 10 reps of this. And then you're doing that every week for 8 weeks. That's not sexy,
At all.
right? But aesthetically,
It worked.
that pool party going to be.
ED, work could do. We did it.
Yeah. I mean, I gained a lot of success for it. I put it in Mean Green. I didn't do 8 weeks. I think we did like 4 or 6 weeks of it.
Let me do the 6
And the thing with this part is what I'm getting to with the sexiness. Sitting down with the trainers or doing it myself, that's something you're incorporating. Like, what's going to be exciting? Because at the end of the day, when I put this on the floor, I'm not thinking about Chris. I'm thinking about Bobby and Walker. I'm thinking about Jared and Jason. Like, how will they sell that workout in the first 10 minutes? Because for week 7, they like, hey, we're doing barbell squats again. Like, how exciting is that for the trainer? So it's a medium, though, right? So for me, I take a lot of pride in trying to bring the sexiness every week, but at the same time, at the end of the week or end of the month or end of the year, you want to see a difference in your body.
Absolutely.
So that's the tough part, but that's the part that my skin is strong enough to take, right?
Yep.
It's something I look forward to doing. So I've heard you say this on a previous podcast, like the workout don't have to be sexy for Jared. Did you say that? Right. Now, with programming boot camp and you teaching the classes, how important is it to have sexy workouts?
I understand from a business perspective it is.
Yeah.
And I want to let's look at the global gym model here. You have, I'm not going to call out no names, but you have gyms that haven't really upgraded their equipment in a really long time.
I'm just kidding. I know that gym. No, I'm just kidding.
So you have those gyms, and then you have gyms, same model, global gym model, go in, get your workout in, that have the nicest and the newest of equipment. And when it comes to people, like whenever they, talk about the gyms that they go to, oh, I go to this gym. And, everybody kind of has, you get the exact same results going to this gym as you do going to this gym, but it looks nicer, it's cleaner,
Absolutely.
It has newer stuff, it looks good on IG, all of that kind of stuff. So for me, I take that into account when it comes to workouts. Like, that matters.
That matters.
And it matters to people. Matter of fact, you can charge more for that.
Yeah.
So I take that into account when, again,
that.
you don't want to do the same movements. You don't want to be boring. You don't want to – if I ever had to step in front of a class and feel like what you just said, we're on week 7, same lift.
Same energy of the members.
Yeah. Like, if I ever had to step in front of a class with it being that boring, that wouldn't be fun for anybody.
Yeah.
So I do believe in adding a twist, adding fun to it.
Absolutely.
So one thing that I do like about your work, because in football, we do the same thing.
Absolutely.
Right. This week we're doing bench. We're doing 4 sets of 6 at 65, or 70% of your 1 rep max. Next week we're doing 4 sets of 5 at 75% of your. That's the workout. It's very cut and dry, very simple. The thing about football is energy, right? We yelling at each other, hyping each other up in the room, rah, testosterone, energy.
Yeah.
That's what it's all about. But the workout is cut and dry, very, very plain and simple. And the thing that I liked about Mean Green was you have that dynamic in it, right? It's not in order for you to get better at bench press. A lot of people, most understand, some don't. You have to do the same movement week to week in order to get better, adding weight, adding progression. So
Absolutely.
Some gyms really pride themselves, and I'm not calling out any gym specific, on, completely different workout,
Every
completely
time.
different stimulus, shocking the body, but if there's no progression, there's no growth.
Yeah.
So I like that was within the Mean Green system, 4 to 6 week programming of the same movement, but again, understanding the sexiness dynamic of it. Yeah, we're doing bench press, but this time let's throw a wall ball under our back.
Yeah. totally different. Totally different,
Yeah.
right? And you also look at, I think that brings up our flex option.
Mm-hmm.
So for those that are not familiar with the system that we have, prior to COVID, we had different classes. We had the Beast, which was strength and conditioning, and then we had Maniac, which is HIIT, high intensity interval training classes.
Mm-hmm.
And then, you know, for me, owning this, I hear the good and the bad, right? So the bad at that time was, Chris, I could not make it to 5 o'clock. That's when the Beast class was. Now the next Beast class is at 8 o'clock, and I can't wait that long. I want to do the next class. But the
Mhm.
next class was the
It's
Maniac.
yeah.
So, you know, just moving smarter and maturing in our brand, we were able to create something I think is really unorthodox to most, but I think now we're really executing at a high level, being able to say, hey, we're doing bench press today. This is week 4, right? 10, 8, 6. Now we're on our 4th rep. For those that are on the strength program, you're down to your 4th rep. It's really not a lot of explanation because they've been doing it for 4 weeks. You just tell them they're starting at a higher workload, but make sure they warm up to get prepared.
Yeah.
However, for those that are doing our flex option, which is the HIIT, you're going to do dumbbell close grip.
Yeah.
You're going to do this for the first minute of the minute, working our way up every 2 minutes to 12 minutes, whatever it may be.
Yep.
So I think that was unique. But again, that brings the sexiness in.
Yeah.
And I think as I mature in age, man, there are some times where I do want to lift really heavy, and I'm on week 4, and then week 5 come. I did one little move in the front yard. That move, that like my ankles got broke on camera. Hey. And now my
But
hips
CJ
hurt.
got you.
Right? See, oh. So now my hip hurt. So now I did, I don't know, 275 pounds on a back squat on 6 reps.
Yeah.
Now it's week 4, and I'm supposed to go up to 280 or 285, but now my hip hurt. So this is the problem that I see a lot. People want to push through pain because the program said to go to 285, but this is life, right? You got to make life decisions. I would be an idiot if I get on. Ooh, that came out really bad. But I would not be the person I need to be if I get under that bar because I've done it at 285 for 4 reps. Then I hurt my hip. Now I'm out 4 to 6 weeks, or I hurt my back because I'm overcompensating for my hips, so my back spasms up to protect my whole body. So now I'm out 4 to 6 weeks. And I'm quitting. I'm maybe canceling memberships. I don't work out for the next year. I put on weight. I'm not eating the way I need to eat. And then you're in a very bad predicament just because I had to follow the percentage chart. Man, we got to be smarter as people.
Man, if I could give you guys one piece of advice when it comes to your body, listen.
With all caps.
Listen.
No cap.
Listen. It's going to tell you something's off. That's what your
Yeah,
pain
man.
receptors are there
Yeah.
for. Something's wrong.
Yeah.
Listen.
Yeah.
So.
And that's why I like the flex because there are days when I work out at 6:15. Some days I lift heavy because I feel good. And then there's some days like, no, I don't feel good. I just stood up for 12 hours straight at the Beast Mode games. I'm not going to do a heavy deadlift because my body's hurting or whatnot. So I love that, man. So to keep this moving, I kind of went out of order from 4 steps that I kind of look at when programming. So step 1, I look at the floor space, right? Step 2, we'll dive into really quickly because I want to talk about CrossFit.
Uh-oh.
Okay. Step 1, we just mentioned floor space. Step 2 is what is it called? Weather. All right. True story. Every single week, I look at the weather report, and sometimes I hit, sometimes I don't. But that's a component that we look at because for now, with the models that we have now, because it's going to change in the future. We go indoors and outdoors with our model.
Yeah.
So it would suck. This week, it's going to rain a lot.
It's supposed to rain every day.
Right? So for me to say, hey, we're doing tire sleds Tuesday, Wednesday sprints, Thursday, like I know that I have to do more workouts indoors. Now, will it be some nice days? It's Houston. It might change, and it is what it is. But we look at the weather. The third one we just talked about was the sexiness of a workout. And the fourth one, which is really important to me, is can the coach, every single coach, deliver it the way it need to be delivered, right? So I can rope climb for myself, but I don't do a really good job of teaching rope climb, right? I can teach it, but it ain't me teaching a barbell deadlift or a clean, right? So I'm using it as an example. Now, do the trainer need to get better themselves and learn and hire somebody, get certified, whatever they need to do to learn certain movements? Yes. But for me, for our team that we have currently, it makes no sense for me to put a movement that really is not a deal breaker if it's not in there,
Yeah.
right? So, for example, the rope climb is actually a really great example. We have 4 ropes here, and at the other spot, I think we got 6 or 8 on the north side.
Mhm.
So, can I program it where people share ropes? Absolutely. But right now, unless it's a Saturday workout where I can say, if you know how to do a rope, do it. If you don't, this is the scale option. But how, I'm gonna use the word destructive, probably a better word. How destructive can that be in that 10 to 15 minute of getting everybody loose, explaining the workout and warm-up time at a packed class of 24 people, 4 people on their very first day, and here's this rope climb. You know? So I try and strive my best to put the best movements that are very functional that they'll be able to implement very well.
Yep.
Another movement that's tough for me is the barbell snatch.
There we go.
It's here.
It's here.
It's here. Y'all been waiting. Y'all been waiting, and it's here. Right? Look, the barbell snatch is an amazing movement for conditioning or even strength. I don't think it's an aesthetic movement for me, but for strength and conditioning, I think the barbell move is fantastic. But for a group class, it's the worst thing in the world. So this is the other side. This is not trainer Chris now. We're going back to the one that was here last week. All right.
Business.
First of all, you only have so many spots. And when I say the depth of the barbell snatch, I'm not talking about Mean Green. I'm talking about all gyms. You're about to start seeing majority gyms take this out of their programming, period. And I'm going to tell you a couple reasons. Yeah, get your notebook, tag whoever you want to tag. It's about to go down, all right? So, first of all, CrossFit is freaking fantastic. I love CrossFit. I watch the CrossFit games. Like, I enjoy it. And you have to give flowers when you can. CrossFit brought Jared to me. They brought the warehouse, the no AC, take your shirt off in the middle of a workout, put your sports bra on, come to the gym, go to a warehouse district that's not in the popular area of Houston or whatever city you're in. Go to where it looks a little sketchy. They made that so freaking cool.
Yeah.
So you give flowers where flowers are due. Now, it's not your job to know the things I'm about to say, but I am about to break it down to a T. All right?
Here we go.
CrossFit is a license model. It's not a franchise model. And there's a huge difference, Jared. Franchise model is Chick-fil-A.
Mhm.
A license model is, I'm trying to think of a brand, it's CrossFit, but a license basically you use their name, but you can do whatever you want with the name. So you ever heard the term, I want a yes or no down below, CrossFit hurts you. Have you ever heard that?
Mhm.
Have you guys ever heard that? CrossFit hurts you. The truth is it shouldn't. If you're taught properly how to get your body ready and prepared and move effectively, you shouldn't get hurt. If it's good coaching, good systems. But the problem is that some people don't run it the right way.
Yeah.
All right? And to give you an example, if somebody comes in to do a barbell snatch, they've never done a barbell snatch, but they do a barbell snatch just because everybody else is doing it, that's not the reason to do it.
Mhm.
You do a barbell snatch when you're fully prepared to do a barbell snatch.
Absolutely.
So with CrossFit, even though they brought that sexiness to fitness, the business model, zoom up in the camera, is freaking horrible.
There we go. He said what he said.
And I love CrossFit. I've never had the desire to be a CrossFit. I know sometimes people see barbells. Barbells and barbell plates don't mean it's CrossFit.
Yeah.
That means you're doing strength and conditioning, and you want to protect your plates because they're going to drop and hit the ground. That's like you going to the University of Oregon or Texas,
Yeah.
and you see their pimped out gym, and they got barbells and barbell plates, but they're not CrossFit. They're University of Oregon doing strength and conditioning.
Exactly.
So I want to go back to the business, Jared, and I feel like I've been talking 4 minutes straight, so I'm going to ask you a question after I say this so we can continue to talk about this. The reason why I think the model is not good for business is because it doesn't set up the entrepreneur, the owner, operator for success. So when you buy a CrossFit affiliation or when you get the license, they basically say, here's our name, this is it. It's no, this is the system, They might give you a philosophy. They may say go to, because originally when CrossFit did this, they had a workout of the day on their website, and their workout of the day pretty much all the affiliates did, right? Now everybody does their own programming and XYZ, and some people do a really good job, some people don't do it as good. So the thing that I feel that I want to point out right now, the reason why I believe, and it goes to what I said last week, the reason why I believe it's going to be the death of the snatch, because spaces for gym models are about to get smaller. All right. So when this happened originally, people wanted the warehouses not because they were warehouses. They definitely didn't get warehouses because it didn't have AC. I promise. Jared, why do you think they got the warehouse in 2008? Why was people going crazy over warehouses?
Ooh.
What do y'all think?
Say 2008, I was a freshman in high school.
Damn, that made me feel old.
2008, man. If I had to guess, I would say one, because they were probably inexpensive and they had a lot of space.
Dun, 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 dun. Absolutely correct. Right? Your freshman year in high school, what we know in Houston called Edu wasn't Edu the way that you see it now. You know, East Downtown was a lot of vacant warehouse buildings, and that's Interloop. So imagine the warehouses in Sugarland and Humble and Pearland. People getting warehouses for, some people, 30 cents a square foot, 50 cents a square foot. So if you have a simple math, if you have a 1,000 square foot building and your rent is 50 cents, how much is your monthly note? $500.
$500 a month.
$500 for 1,000 square feet. If you have a 5,000 square foot building and it's 50 cents, you're paying what, $2,500 a month? I hope my math is right. So think about that, 5,000 square feet, and you're getting it for $2,500. That's why people did that.
Yeah.
But now that has changed.
Yeah.
You're not getting warehouses for the same price. So now gyms are going to become more boutique style. How big is that freaking barbell now? It's freaking 7 foot. To do a barbell snatch, for majority of the people that are over 5'8", 5'9", you need a 7 foot barbell.
Need it.
Right? So now you're going into not how to teach it. You're not talking about injuries if you don't do it correctly, or how difficult it is to teach a barbell snatch to a person for the very first time. We're not even talking about those components. I'm talking about business-wise, how many people can you fit in your gym in a class? So this is 60 feet. Every lifting spot, so we customize ours, but every lifting spot in our old model, and we have a couple spots on that wall, you have 4 feet with a difference of 6 feet. All right? Y'all do the math. 4 feet and 6 feet is what? 10. If it's 60 feet from wall to wall, not even counting space to walk around, but just from wall to wall, how many spots can you fit?
With that bar,
What?
6 to 7.
Do the math.
Six.
Exact.
Six good spots.
You can
Yeah.
only fit 6. So you got 6 on this side of the room. You got 6 on this side of the room, which max your class out at 12 people. All right. Now you can be strategic, and you can put 24 people in a class and say, hey, everybody's going to share a barbell. Okay, that's going to work for a long time, right? So now you're looking at the same space, but what happens if your barbell is now 5 feet, right? Because now your 5 feet bar mixed with another foot or 2 feet in between, that's 7 feet versus 10. How many spots can you fit in 60 feet with a 7 foot, right? 60 divided by 7, what's that? 7 and 7 is 49, 7 and 8 is 56. You can fit 8 people versus 6 people, right? So y'all see the math? So now you can incorporate 4 more spots versus 4 spots that are less, which means you can fit more people in, which means you can sell more memberships, which means you make more payroll, which means you can pay your trainers more. Jared, hearing all of that, you being the next gym owner potentially here, how does that look and feel when you say space versus doing a barbell snatch?
No, definitely going for space.
Why?
Um,
Like, why? I'm challenging somebody today. I feel it.
Yeah,
Not Jared,
I
but
mean, everything you just said, that's like somebody giving you the blueprint. Hey, this is how you make more money. You're like, nah, I don't really want it.
nah. Money, no.
Like what? It just makes sense.
Yeah. Think about it.
Yeah.
Hey, man, this is what you do to be happy in your marriage. Oh, no, I'm good.
I like arguing.
I love arguing. Like, So for anybody that's thinking about opening a gym, or maybe you're in a gym, I think that was a faith move we had to do, right? So you got to imagine we had like 40 barbells here, you know, Northside had, 30 something, and we start selling them things. And literally made the space a lot smaller so we can fit more people in. Because what was the complaint? Chris, the gyms are too popular. I can never get into class. It's always full. Well, cool. Well, we're going to make the space smaller. So the game plan is now, do I want to do a barbell snatch, or do I want all my trainers to have a job? So this is not a Mean Green thing. This is going to be global.
Yeah.
Right? Now, do you really want to do it? Now, the thing is, if I get Milton and he say, man, I really want to do a barbell snatch, or, hey, man, I'm doing the Beast Mode games, and they're going to have a barbell snatch in it. Cool. Well, let's do personal training.
Yeah.
Right? Because I'm diving in deep on this one. So the model of CrossFit, officially, you never allow somebody in a group setting class before they do something called onboarding. Onboarding was typically 4, 6, 8, 10 sessions, depending on the individual. Whenever they learn the lingo and the basic fundamental movements, they put them in a group training class. You come to Mean Green and you say, hey, Chris, I want to join. I say, cool. Well, hey, book Jared 8 times for $80. Then we'll give you access to our group class. You know what you're going to do in 2022? You're going to go to the next gym that lets you into the class. Right? Again, I'm just talking about basic, fundamental, practical business decisions that you got to make. Hey, comment down below. I think Jared would love to see this as well. If we told you had to do 10 personal training, or even four personal training sessions before we let you in the class, what have you done, Mean Green? Question I have for you, Jared, for you to be potential next gym owner for Mean Green, right? How do you, or what do you do when you want to be abundant, right, financially, and even for your peace and joy, but at the same time, you want to satisfy people that come into the gym? If you have a group of people that really want to do the snatch, and I don't have an answer, so that's why I'm asking him, how do you explain that to the community right now? Between, hey, this is effective movement, but this is the only movement that gets you there. No. You know, versus, hey, man, like, y'all want more equipment? Or, hey, do y'all want to open up more gyms? Or, hey, do y'all want, like, how do you break that down for them?
Blunt. I'm going to be blunt here.
Yes.
How many professional athletes do we know?
Personally?
Just period.
Do you count? I don't know none.
No, I'm just saying, as far if we break down the population, right? How many people are professional athletes?
No.
Not a whole lot, right? That's why they're so popular. There's not too many LeBron Jameses. There's not too many Steph Currys. And the reason I'm bringing that up is based on population. I truly believe that certain movements are really athletic-based, athletic movements. Like, this is for those top-tier athletes. I don't have to work out like LeBron James because I'm not taking the load on that LeBron James is taking, right? And as I look at the general population, there's a lot of movements that aren't required of you to live your life, to get the strength gains that you need to get, and that's just one of them. So that's kind of the way I look at it for you guys. Like, what exactly are you performing a snatch for? Is it for Instagram to look cool? Because at the end of the day, now we get into those debates. Instagram over your health over an abundant business model. I'm probably going with the abundant business model. I don't even know. Now, the thing that I look at is the athlete part. How many people do we know how many people do we train that actually participate in the CrossFit games? We have to be able to do a snatch. Not too many. If that was our business, then obviously we need to cater towards that. But with that not being our business model, again, my personal belief is that that's not a required movement for you to be able to live your life abundantly, happily.
Yeah.
So I'm more than willing to not do that.
Yeah.
right?
Absolutely.
Muscle up.
Well
I
said.
don't do muscle ups. Like it's just not required of you to. It looks cool on IG,
That's great. Be strong.
but um, I'm just throwing a name out there, Miss Lucy, that just coming in here
Yeah.
like she. Oh, cool.
Right.
It don't bother her, and for the general population, which we serve,
Right.
that's the big picture.
I love it, Jared. You know, the whole title, I know this episode has a title, but the whole title of this whole series is what Mean Green gyms and boot camps don't do that other gyms and boot camps may not do, whatever, how we worded it, right? So you said something that's really key that I want to point out because it's so cool, Jared, to have one-on-one talks with other gym owners that have seen this podcast. So thank you guys, man. Shout out to my guys. You said the own gym's philosophy, programming, their belief. I think this is the problem, and this is not a shh on CrossFit, but it is a shh on the business model.
Yeah.
All right. When I told you guys earlier, they don't really give you the X's and O's on how to be a better business owner. They just give you the name. The reason why that's really difficult because it's not scalable. As a business owner, you want things that are scalable. When you go to a CrossFit gym, or you got to be careful also for my gym owners out there that have a four-wall setup where you have different equipment. Now, the thing that I'm about to say is not the Bible. It's Chris's opinion. So
Let that be known.
Yeah, I'm saying that, okay? So with CrossFit, you'll walk into one CrossFit A and CrossFit B. They will have totally different equipments. Like one may be more focused barbell, and the other one may have gymnastic rings everywhere, and that's their system. That's that specific gym's ideal and identity, and they're not right or wrong for that, but that's what they want to do. I think the problem with putting a title on your door and not quite understanding the whole theory of it, the challenge is the reason why you don't see a CrossFit owner have 10 locations is for number one, they have a really weird rule to me, but number two, there's too much equipment. You can't, okay, look at me, guys. You can't have bumper plates and barbells, dumbbells and kettlebells, plyo boxes, ropes, GHD machines, rowers, rowers, bikes, ski ergs, sleds. You can't have 50 different pieces and then someone say, I want to open up a second location.
And have all those same pieces.
And have all 50 pieces times 10. And then remember, you got to have the square footage to be able to not even do the workout. But what a lot of people don't look at, when you own a gym, you got to have space to store the equipment. So you can't just live off all the pieces in the middle of the floor. Like, you want an empty space when you come into the gym every day. So, again, fitness is about to get smaller, but the identity of you got to be careful, gym owners, to put all these different pieces in your gym, because when location number 2 or 3 or 4 pop up, you got to keep up with the demand.
Yeah.
And I think that with CrossFit, there's no identity of what equipment is a specific gym model, because CrossFit is not a franchise. You go to Orange Theory,
It's a franchise, same equipment.
franchise, same equipment, same wall, same color, right? But they got an identity. And the reason why I'm saying all that is to say this. This is Chris. Remember I said that at the beginning of my 10-page essay. When you come to Mean Green, we are not CrossFit. When you come to Mean Green, we are not a Pilates studio. Does Pilates work?
Yes.
Yes. Is it awesome? Yes. But it's not Mean Green. If you go to a yoga studio or a spin studio, all of them are fantastic. It's not us. So I think that's where a lot of gym owners get in trouble. And I said this earlier, but y'all gave me a lot of credit, so thank you. You can't be mad at your members if they want to try something different out. Orange Theory not going to be pissed because you want to do hiking or you want to go do bodybuilding, because they don't offer that. The gym owner that potentially can get themselves in trouble will listen to members and just start adding all the pieces in because they don't want to lose their member, right?
Yeah, got to have an identity.
I don't want to lose you guys either, right? I love you guys, but we have an identity. So if somebody, if Milton comes in and say, yo, man, I seen I'm trying to think of a piece of equipment. They have a Concept 2 shotgun, right? Seriously. Hey, man, I want the new Concept 2 shotguns, man. We get our heart rate up, and then everybody that likes to shoot guns, we got to get them to understand how they can control their breathing. That's going to make them better shooters. That's not our identity.
At all.
And how many people in our gym probably shoot guns on a weekly or monthly basis? Very small. So I think this conversation is so important because, and I think this is for everybody. This is for the people that follow us. They're like, man, I didn't know this much thought goes into it. Yeah. But it also goes to the person that owns a gym or thinking about opening a gym. Like, find your identity and stick to it. Because if you don't, you're going to be buying a whole bunch of expensive equipment. It's going to become that piece of equipment in the corner. Then you're trying to sell it on OfferUp. And the member that – Jared, I'm going to say this and take over. The member that want to try something out, they going to go try something out whether you buy the piece of equipment or not because you're not good at it.
You're trying. Straight up.
If I don't teach spin well and I try to teach spin well because
members want you to.
Member wants me to teach spin, they going to go to the spin guy that's on Peloton that does it a way better job than me.
Straight up.
I'm going to drink some water.
Nah,
I love this show.
Yeah, that's straight up. I think
I love this show.
Honestly, identity was one of the things that I was trying to figure out when I first got to Mean Green because I did know CrossFit.
Yeah.
Right? I know CrossFit. So whenever people were asking me when I very first got here, like, what kind of gym is it? A lot of people would throw out there, is it like I saw y'all got barbells like CrossFit style? I mean, not really.
That's real.
Not really. So once I was able to get into verbiage with it, it's a strength and conditioning gym. All right, so not CrossFit, strength and conditioning. So being able to understand the true identity of who we are and what we do was big time for me because then it did scratch out CrossFit for me. And let me defend CrossFit for a second because
me too, 'cause I love CrossFit. I'm gonna be on their forum, dog. They're gonna have an X over my head. All right, defend them.
So here's the thing. And it goes off the business model that you just said, and a lot of y'all might share the same opinion that I had for a really long time. I did not like CrossFit. I was like, oh no, CrossFit gets you hurt. CrossFit is bad for your joints. It's bad for XYZ. And one of the things that, like you just said, every one of them is different. Yeah, it's not one, but being who we are as people, we hear CrossFit, we just group it. And that's fair. That's why they buy the name, so that you can group it.
Absolutely.
And unfortunately, you take a risk on if it does go bad, or if it does have a bad rep, you take that bad rep, right? So that was my general opinion of CrossFit. But I'm gonna take y'all to a football perspective. If let's say the Texans this year, let's say every receiver on the Texans tore their ACL, we're not looking at the NFL. We're not like, oh man, NFL, oh they just terrible this year with their training. No, the Texans have a bad trainer, right? So it's individualized. So for me and for you guys, kind of your vision on the way you view CrossFit. I know for me, so this is my defense to them. Like, not all the CrossFit is not bad. The NFL is not bad. Texans might just have a bad strength and conditioning coach, right? So
I like that.
That's kind of the way I looked at that.
The DNA of CrossFit originally was never to be the most difficult movements. You know, it's based upon gymnastics and Olympic movements for the most part, right? It was based upon like functional movements that people can do. And I think the confusion came with a lot of gym owners. Yeah, screw it. There's a difference between CrossFit training and the CrossFit games.
Yeah.
And a lot of people love fitness, and then they're good at it. They become this athlete in their gym, and they say, you know what, I'm going to open up my own gym. And then they start training people to be in the CrossFit Open or the games. But just like the NFL and NBA, there's a small percentage of people that do that, right?
Yeah.
A professional CrossFitter, I should say. So now you're making your business model a model to train the small percentage of CrossFitters, right?
Yeah.
And at least with sports, if you train an NFL player, he might can drop $100,000 a year and pay you, and you're good. But CrossFitters don't have $100,000 I'm talking about the Matt Frazier's of the world. Like,
Yeah.
they're not making what LeBron make, right? And Matt Frazier is the one with the Nike contract. So he might have more than others, but the person in 10th place or 50th place, they can't pay you what the person that is on the third string for the Houston Rockets can pay you, right? So I think that sets up gym owners potentially for destruction because they're training for a very small percentage of people.
Yeah.
And even those pros don't pay. You know, a lot of pro athletes don't pay their trainer.
No. Why?
Right? I don't get that. But
No. I'm saying, why would you? Literally, if who's on the Texans right now? Lord Jesus.
Mills, I know our quarterback, Mills.
If somebody with a big name, let's say Cooks, all right, let's say Brandon Cook, he walks in here, and we get that on IG, he just paid us.
He just paid us.
Yeah.
He just paid us.
So
So
like,
Matt
why?
Frazier came to Mean Green. I'm like, Matt, come on in. Spot number 17 is yours, right?
Right.
But that happens with a lot of gym owners because these guys are local beasts in their city.
Yeah.
They're comping their memberships. And then you start basing your programming based upon those athletes. I'm about to dive into this. Screw it. I don't care. It's the Mean Green Show every day. So, Jason, feeling me. Ah. All right. So check this out. This is funny. So when you base your programming based upon maybe just a popular voice or the guy that is going to regionals or go to the Beast Mode games or the festive games or whatever it may be, those athletes, if they've done this for a minute, they know the importance of prepping the body for the movement. The barbell snatch specifically, an overhead barbell lunge specifically, kip pull-ups or butterfly pull-ups. You're not going to jump on a barbell and just start doing butterfly pull-ups. You about to do some range of motion. You're going to loosen up all those joints. You're doing all these movements, and it might take you for a dumbbell barbell snatch specifically. In a perfect world for me, if I trained you at a PT session, we're not putting that bar over your head with the weight until about 20, 25 minutes in. I'm going to make sure everything is good to go because it's not just your shoulders, your range of motion shoulders, your lats, activation, it's so many components of the barbell snatch.
Back, glutes, hips.
Everything,
all that.
right? So once all that is warmed up, 25 minutes in, it's like, all right, you ready? 3, 2, 1. So I want you to think of our average Mean Green class. All right, 16 people on the north side, right? Say one person really loved that barbell snatch, and they love waiting for that 25-minute mark. They love getting warmed up. They like, ooh, give me more warm-up time, right? And then you got the other 15 people looking at the coach like, I paid you for this hour. I paid a gym membership to work out for this hour, but for the first 25 minutes, you got me doing rotations with a 2.5-pound plate.
Yep.
Is that sexy? No. So gym owners, you wonder why sometimes you're a challenge. It's because you're making your general public programming for a very small percentage of people. Switch that, gym owner. Make it for the general public in that small percentage. Do a PT session.
Yep.
And most of the people that do regionals and stuff, they don't need you. Let me be real.
Yeah.
If Matt Frazier came into the gym today, what am I going to tell him on how to do a barbell snatch? He just needs time and space. So it's better to almost have open gym hours for your elite athletes and let them do their own thing versus prescribing your whole programming based upon a very small percentage of people.
That's real.
So, the depth of the barbell snatch. I like the barbell snatch. I'm going to throw it in the fall. I'm just waiting on the weather to get a little bit cooler. And even when we do it, the reason why I'm waiting on it to get cooler is because it's going to be an outdoor workout. Because, number one, on a Saturday, it's popping.
Yeah.
So we need space, right? So majority of our people over 5'7" need a 7-foot barbell. So we're able to put that outside and then still give the person the option to either do a barbell snatch or maybe a dumbbell snatch, right? I like to say this, Jared, and then we can wrap this up. This has really been a fun episode. Somebody's thinking, well, if y'all are a good coach, why don't you just make a scale option? When you say, hey, do barbell snatches, and then somebody on their first day that can't do a barbell snatch, or maybe the member that's been with you for 2 years haven't got it down yet, how do you think they feel when they can't do a movement and you say, oh, here, do this, and everybody in the class is doing that. Or you come in your first day, our goal when a new member comes in is for our culture to sell it.
Yeah.
So it's not for our culture to scare people off. Do you know how scary that is if you got freaking, I'm trying to think of some people. If you got freaking Allison Clayton with her abs out, and you got Brittany Joseph over there yelling, knocking these snatches out, and here you are already scared of the weight room and bumper plates and dumbbells. You walk in and you see that. Do you know how intimidating that is?
Very.
Third one, what if you're David Martinez? And shout out to David. And the reason why I use you all the time, David, because I know you have thick skin, so he's good. Imagine David as great as he is. He's been doing this, going on 2 years, I believe, somewhere around there. What happens if somebody comes into his class and he says, hey, we're doing a barbell snatch, and then David, already programmed, if he can't do a barbell snatch, we're just going to do dumbbell snatch or any type of overhead motion. And then that person says, hey, I can't do anything with this type of rotation. Did I really just set my trainer up with the best opportunity to do a great job? Because now you're becoming a PT, right? And we are not, well, you are, but everybody else are not, PTs, right? So you do have to put your people in position to find success. Jared, out of curiosity, have you ever, and it's not the snatch, it can be any movement, have you ever seen somebody get discouraged because they couldn't do what everybody else was doing in the class?
Absolutely.
What do you feel like as a man? What do you want to do for that person?
I wish I could lend them a body part at that point in time.
Right.
And sometimes, I wish as a coach you could just snap your finger and they could get it.
Yeah.
I really do. But I have seen people just get frustrated. I just want to, I know.
Yeah.
I just want to.
Yeah.
I know.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
That's a mental thing. From a coaching perspective, all you can do is get people to understand that Rome wasn't built in a day.
Absolutely.
That's literally all you could do. For the people that are in here and are able to pick it up, luckily God blessed some of us with, we'll just call it athletic ability. But what I'm trying to say is you're able to just pick it up and quickly. You're just able to pick things up quickly. But some of us, not so much. And it takes time, and we have to learn it, and we have to coach it. And that's why teachers have jobs, and that's why trainers have jobs, because we have to coach you through it. So the biggest thing I would say for anybody that's feeling discouraged, because I have had people come in, my response is just patience.
That's it.
Patience. You're not going to pick it up today.
And that's okay.
No, it's okay. But my thing with that is accept it, because that's the biggest piece.
Yeah,
you have to accept, hey, I might not get this today, but I don't get discouraged.
Yeah.
I might not get this today, but I'm working on it.
Absolutely.
We're going to get better. So that's all I could do for that person that comes in and they just defeat it. So.
Well said, man. To Mean Green family, I love y'all. It's really important for me to stress the importance of, it's kind of like a YouTube video. Because Instagram, I think they took it off, or Facebook. I don't know if they ever had it. I think they had it. YouTube, I know for sure, has a thumb up button and a thumb down.
Yeah.
Right. So, for me specifically, it means a lot, because when I put a workout personally out, that's over 400 or 500 people are going to see that workout. Right. And you guys, it means the world when I see y'all doing the selfies, taking the pictures, inboxing me. And, it is almost like for every 100, you'll have 2 or 3, right? But at the same time, it's not for everyone in the same moment. But I do want to tell Mean Green, thank you, man. Y'all guys are fantastic. Thank you for trusting us and believing in us. There was one more thing I wanted to say about space. I'm trying to think, should I go there? Because we should. It'd be cool if we go there. There's also the 5th step. It's not a really fun step to talk about, but it's a step that I have to talk about when we talk about programming. Mm-hmm. Number 5, the final one, safety. All right. So part of the space that we did with the Pick Your Spot model was for you to have enough space. Do y'all know when you drop a barbell overhead or from your chest, it bounces and you can't control it?
That's right.
You know, so, can we pile 32 people on the north side in one class? Absolutely. But that's not safe.
Mm-mm.
You know what I mean? Like, and some of y'all may have worked out in, like me, like I can work out in that type of crowd and I know how to control. I know how to adjust, bumper plate coming, I can jump. Like, I get that. But what if my dad or mom is in a class? What if they don't respond that fast? Y'all got to remember that safety is everything. So, it's a couple more, and we use barbell. Let's say this: we use the barbell snatch as a title
Yeah.
for you guys to be like, ooh. But there are several movements that I don't like to put on. I don't like putting. I don't put muscle ups. Y'all never seen a muscle up? Have y'all ever seen? I really cringe on box jumps, to be honest. If y'all notice, a lot of times I do box jumps or step ups. In our coaching text blasts or meetings, I would say, hey guys, make sure you note to tell them when they're dead dog tired, they want that height on the box. Because if not, you're gonna have these things that I have, right? And but y'all have never seen me jump over the box jump. Like, I mean, athletically, when we played basketball, we jumped over the box to do a burpee. Like, have y'all ever seen that? You know what I mean? Like, so there are a lot of movements that we don't do to protect. But there's two things that I like to throw out with the snatch, with the overhead lunges, and other movements that we don't do as much is, man, we're definitely open for personal training.
Yep.
Like, if you're just stuck on those movements, you just got to remember those movements are created. If it's in a group setting, it needs to be 2 to 4 people.
Yeah.
But how many can Mean Green hold a group with just 4 people at 7 o'clock or 6 o'clock or 6 in the morning? Like, that's going to be really tough for us to do for abundance and also for people that want to join a class. So I wanted to throw that out there for the Mean Green family. Man, we would love to work with you guys. We have some top skilled people that can really teach those movements, and we'd love to do that. But from the business side, I just wanted to kind of open that dialogue up for people to see what we're thinking when we could pick these movements for the workouts.
I want to hit two dynamics on safety real quick. So you hit the first one, which
Okay.
is safe, like actual safety. The second one that I think Mean Green focuses on a lot, that I'm sure a lot of gyms do, but I
Okay.
know it's something that we focus on, and it was kind of in our core 4. And the safety is the part that I think sometimes y'all might get a little bored when it comes to us trying to focus on your safety. And safety, for me, I'm thinking of warming
Yeah.
the body up. If you don't warm the body up the right way, you're putting yourself in a compromised position to get injured, compromising your safety. And I think that's very important. If you're not lifting the right way, if you're rushing through a lift because you're trying to get through the movement super fast,
Yeah.
you're compromising your safety. If you are,
That's well said.
if you're continuously going lightweight, then one day you decide to pick up heavyweight,
It's not safe.
compromising your safety. So I think us as coaches, us as far as our programming is concerned, it really plays into you and your safety. And again, this is something Alex talked about, rushing through workouts, all of that kind of stuff, things that we have noticed. But as coaches, that's kind of the big piece right there, what we do different. We have coaches that say, hey, this is something that's an
Yeah.
issue. We need to fix it.
Yeah.
So, and that's one of those things. So kind of to you guys, follow the programming because it's there for a reason, literally. Hopefully what you took from this podcast was that we literally think about every
Absolutely.
single little detail that goes into it for your safety. If you see something up there that it's, tempo, focus on your tempo. It's there for a reason. If you see 16-minute cap, this should take you anywhere from 14 to 16 minutes, and it takes you 10 minutes.
Absolutely.
Follow the program, and so pick up some weight if you're meant to.
Yeah.
Follow
Yeah.
your coach's warm up.
Yeah.
Don't just sit back and look at it. Stretches, they're there for a reason. There's a reason we program stretches. If it was meant for you guys to just go home after a workout, 3, 2, 1, done. All right, y'all, have a good one, good workout. That would be the end of the workout, but it's not, because the stretch is important. That's why it's added in there. So for you guys' safety, I think that it's very important to look at that part of the programming as well. Like, whatever is programmed, follow it.
I love that. I love that, Jared, because trial and error creates success.
Yeah.
Right? The way we train now is not the way we trained 10 years ago. Like, everybody got smarter. I think Like nobody wants a. Do you really, ladies and gents, want to put your shirt on and feel that stinging in pain in your shoulder every single time? Like I've made the mistake sometimes putting programs in, especially like in our Chimney Rock days when we were over there.
Mhm.
Because at one point, man, to be brutally honest and very transparent, as a programmer, it was like who can make the hardest workout. Like that was a thing.
Yeah.
Like who made the hardest workout. And I think one of the things that I have the blessing to be maturing was to study other people's genius. And this is nothing I'm gonna post on Instagram because it's boring.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna tell you the amount or the type of programs or softwares or workshops or subscriptions that I probably need to cancel because they still are coming out of my account. Like all these different people that I consider some of the top programmers or have great philosophies and ideals, So we study those things. But, the cool thing is I love the fact that people trust us to do it.
Yeah.
And, I do want to give a couple shout outs to programmers while we're on here. Number one, Charlie Odom, right? So I programmed for a while. When I met Charlie, I joined as a member, right? I joined because I was having the boys. I was either having them or just had them, and I needed a place to disconnect. So when I'm mean green at the North or South or at Bootcamp, I'm mean green. So sometimes I won't even work out. Like I actually anticipate working out tonight. But if the class is full or somebody needs help or somebody on their first, we have 1 or 2 people on their first day is easy as a coach. But when you have 5, like I may stop doing what I'm doing. So sometimes I don't work out. But when I joined that gym, my whole purpose was like,
I'm working out.
I'm working out.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna worry about the floor not being vacuumed in the corner or the chalk that's over there. I'm gonna work out. So meeting Charlie was such a blessing, and it's not just because he came and eventually took over programming, but it was just to study a craft of someone that takes a lot of pride in it.
Yeah.
And to sit down. I actually have a podcast that I interviewed him on, a podcast called Mastermind. I interviewed him about programming. And just to see how he dissected and being able to sit down with them, and like I have over almost a year and a half to 2 years of Charlie programming. And the funny thing is a lot of times I take his program and I do little inserts in our workouts, just FYI. But, the thing that I was able to experience with him was the evolution of where fitness is going, right? So when he got into Olympic lifting and all that, like he was getting to a point from the conversations we had was like, yo, like what we're doing at CrossFit or what we've done in CrossFit is not some of the best things. And we were able to kind of journey that together. So Charlie Odom, number one, shout out to you, man. I love you. I miss you. Number 2, we got a subscription from a guy named Marcus Fully. I think he got Jared on the hair. All right. But so me and Charlie was studying. We started doing it maybe like the 3 months prior. 3 months prior. He has a very strong background from lacrosse. He played collegiately. He played lacrosse. So aesthetically, he gifted, right?
Yep.
Playing at, I think, Cali Berkeley.
Okay.
Am I saying that right? But he did the CrossFit Games, and he made the games. Like he was top 20 athlete. But what he did with his programming, he felt like it was moments where you couldn't train people to be an athlete without the fundamental of being the athlete. So if you look at his platform, Marcus Philly asked me, I'll share his stuff. He focuses a lot on it, a lot of calisthenics and tempo and balance training. Now, with that type of style of training, it's not sexy. So me and Charlie was trying to design programs where in that first 5 to 10 minutes, you might go down to a ring row and hold your body weight in a ring row plank. Like if y'all seen that before, it warms up your body, stabilizes your core. It's difficult and it's not boring. But we were navigating that together. So when you look at what Marcus was doing, not only did he have that component, he's also combining it with, he calls it, functional bodybuilding. So he also incorporated bodybuilding for CrossFit, for you OGs that are into CrossFit and been there for the last 10, 15 years, they didn't do bicep curls. They didn't do bench press. They didn't. No, seriously, you did not do bench press. You did not do bicep curls. Mark has added that in. He's one of the first to do that publicly, where he put bodybuilding movements with Olympic movements and calisthenic movements and gymnastic movements, and he created that. So I definitely want to give Marcus a major shout out because I follow your programming, and I take inserts and use it as well. MDV from under Jason Kalipe's training at NC Fit, unbelievable job. My guy from Chalk out of Cali, I think I showed you his stuff. Unbelievable job. Knee over toes, we've been following his program a little bit. Again, it's not a sexy program, right? But to teach people how to strengthen ligaments and joints to, if you're going to do the Spartan race and then you put your body in a Spartan race position that never been there, which means you're going up an incline and you step on a rock and then your shin get a little bit closer to your toe, but your body's never felt that, then pop on the opposite side. But his programming is not designed for group style training. But you'll start seeing us maybe incorporate this maybe in the next year, where instead of somebody saying, hey, I can't run outside, we might get the tire out and have you doing those walking back. So it just, again, I'm sounding like a nerd, but I did want to give those couple shout outs because, you know, I do follow you guys' program and I take bits and pieces and put it into Mean Green.
Absolutely.
Cool. Jared, you got anything?
No, man. I think we hit them with a lot today. A lot to process.
We had like an hour 20, bro.
Whew. These last 3 been long.
Yeah. I guess, you know, maybe we could have broken this into two episodes. It could have been, I don't know. It could have been how Mean Green coach specifically and how we break it down, and then the philosophy about programming in business. We probably could have made this 2 parts. We can still do that. No, we got a special episode next.
Yeah.
So we just make it 1 episode.
Yes,
Cool.
man.
Guys, that's it. This weekend, I would love to see you kickball.
Kickball.
Talk to him, Jay.
August 27th, y'all. 6 p.m. We're gonna be out at Cleveland Park
Just going down.
playing kickball.
Are you playing?
We'll see.
I might watch this one.
I have an official shirt, so I've been excited to try to wear it.
Oh, okay. He gonna be the fittest official I've ever seen in my life. I might watch. I want to bring the green beans, so I want to bring them out. And obviously, guys, we do this every year to raise school supplies.
Yep.
This year, we brought to the program hygiene items. That's it, right?
Hygiene?
Yeah, hygiene items. So you've seen the link. You've been bringing them to the gym, but this is the last week.
Yep.
Cool.
Tied
You
to
got anything
kickball.
else?
That's all we got.
Guys, we love you. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for your responses. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for 5-star reviews. Thank you. Just thank you. Cool? We love y'all. See you soon.